Well, hello and welcome to another episode of
Community conversations.
with Gary and Stacy. Pelutweu. How do you say? How do you say pelutweu?
Pelutweu.
Oh, look at you. All right. So today we want to talk about a very important subject. For a lot of people that are in marriage, sometimes there could be a desire to want to spare the other person's feelings, and then we instead of becoming peacemakers, we can become peacekeepers. All right, so you want to explain what the difference is? You know. So a peacemaker is one that's, so the Bible says blessed are the peacemakers. So those that are striving despite all the circumstances. So there's a level of a certain assertiveness to a peacemaker. So they will be able to express how they feel, express what they think, while at the same time looking at or considering the other person and building that relationship. Now, a peacekeeper is one that just goes along with stuff to keep the peace, basically. From
don't rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat. Don't do nothing. So you get into things where there's a lot of relationships where people don't even want to talk about the hard things because they're afraid that the other person is gonna get hurt, or that they really don't want to rock the boat. So what do you think?
I think I remember at the point when our relationship changed, because I think when we first got married, you kind of like agree with everything. You agreed with whatever I wanted. You never said no to anything. And then I think a couple years into the marriage, then all of a sudden you started like having an opinion, saying no. Like, what happened?
What happened to my nice guy?
This was so much fun.
Yeah, but what? So I think though is that sometimes for people that are peacekeepers, you're expecting the other person to reciprocate, but then as you go on, you realize, well, this ain't going to change. So I think at that time, I made a decision that, okay, I think to build our marriage, I have to be honest with how I feel. I have to, to talk about the things that we need to talk about, etc., etc. And how did that make you feel when that happened?
Terrible.
Why?
Because why would you say no? I don't understand. But the funny thing is, I actually saw that even with our kids, with our the youngest two. No, the middle one and the eldest one. Because she would always dominate the relationship. She would tell them how to play, what to play, when to play, how long the game was gonna last.
Right.
And then after a while, her younger brother decided, no, I can say no. I can determine what games we play, and if you don't want to go with that, then we don't have to play.
But now he says no too much, though.
So I think that's what happened in our marriage, where you're like, after a while, you realize, if I'm gonna be in this forever, I cannot keep. It's kind of like stifling your feelings or pushing it down. So after a while, it builds up. You get resentment, and you get some anger. So after a while, you have to be able to each person be able to say how they feel in certain circumstances, even if it may cause a disagreement.
So I think the major thing also is knowing and growing as an individual in a marriage, and realizing I think at that point I was realizing some of my own toxic behaviors, like people pleasing. So because I had to deal with that. So it wasn't just in the marriage that I was dealing with that. It was also with other people outside. Just realizing, okay, I cannot just always be the one that's trying to keep the peace. So we gotta talk about it. So some of these things I think are also caused by just our own personal experiences from the way we grew up. You when you grew up the way some of us did, you never really rocked the boat that much, because when you did, things didn't end well. So sometimes it's also that it's a fear that you have. So I think what you did for me, which you probably don't see, what you did for me is you gave me an environment where I realized I could express myself, and you're not gonna walk away.
Yeah, was already in it.
So the problem with a lot of relationships where we call that an unsafe relationship is when people cannot express how they feel. People cannot give their opinion because they're afraid of the consequences. And I'm a grown man. I can't have consequences.
You can. But also, I feel like it prevents the relationship from growing and development, not developing, not just the relationship, but everything that you do.
Right.
Be it business, investments. If you have one person dictating how everything is done, you could be preventing yourself from having another side, another opinion, another view that in fact could actually cause more benefits than harm. So after a while of doing, my way is not necessarily going to be right every way.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the time it is, but still. You might have something to say that might actually be more fruitful.
Yeah. So for a lot of people, though, they in some marriages there is one person that makes all the rules, says what needs to happen, does whatever needs to happen, and the other person is just tagging along. And that's not a healthy, safe environment, because then both individuals are not counting. Remember, from the beginning, when God created Adam and Eve, he created Eve. He said, I know you need a helper, so I'm going to create for you this helpmate. So you need to be able to work with each other. But then if it's only one way, one person, one thought, that's it, it becomes an unsafe environment. And also, in some extreme cases, it can create an abusive relationship. It can create an abusive relationship. I don't know if you've seen that video. There's a video of a lady who her husband had bought some groceries to take. He said that he's taking it to his mother because his mother was sick.
Okay.
So she got mad. She says, why are you buying so many things? Why are you buying so many things? He says, no, because my mother is sick. I need to take this, So she's mad and said, why are you buying? Why are you, And then the wife says, then he says, then she puts stuff away. She's putting stuff away. We'll just take this water. And then when she realized that when he said my mother, she meant her mother.
He meant her.
He meant her mother.
Oh.
Then she starts picking up the stuff that she was putting away. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's sick? How come you didn't tell me? So she's putting all the stuff she was putting away.
So it was only good for her.
For her mother.
Not his.
Not his mother.
That's sad.
That's a sad way of even how some people do. So that's exactly what we're talking about.
So she's basically in control
of the marriage.
What's done, how it's done, who does what, who gets what.
Where are we going and stuff like that. So, but I know that probably in a marriage you've had instances where you had to keep the peace.
Probably. Can't really remember.
But you're good at expressing yourself.
I am pretty good at expressing myself. From a child growing up, that's something that I've always been known for. There were times where I could say that I had been in relationships where I felt suppressed without having that freedom to express myself. It's a terrible feeling. It really even makes you feel at some point like you're incapable.
Yes.
So it breaks you down.
Like you could never do anything right.
It breaks you down. It takes away your confidence. It takes away your self-esteem. So and I can't say that the other person was intending for that to happen, but for some reason that's what happened. And so in our relationship, in as much as I express myself, and even though I may get upset when you disagree, I still want you to be able to express yourself. Because what happens is after a while, after you have spoken, then I can have some time to think on what you've said and work it out in my own mind that, okay, maybe you do have a point.
Maybe.
But that comes with maturity and time. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you really can't have a one-sided relationship. It is
Yeah.
not a relationship. It is a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And you don't want any of that to happen, because that stifles growth, that stifles the other person. So even if that other person is going through something really bad, it makes it difficult for them to even share that with
Yeah.
you. So I was explaining to someone the other day, I said, one of the things that I've purposed in my heart is I want you and the kids, when you walk through the door in this house, I want you guys to feel safe, that you can express yourself, that you can be happy, that you can be yourselves. You know,
that's something that you kind of demolish the person's ability to be themselves.
Yeah, because the
if
world,
you can't do that at home, then
where?
where?
So you think about it. People go through a lot of stuff. The kids go through a lot of things at school. We go through a lot of stuff at work, everywhere. People do different things. But the moment people come home, they need to be coming to a safe home.
Yeah.
When your spouse comes home, he or she needs to be coming to a safe marriage, that they can be able to express themselves and not be afraid that you're gonna not listen to them or make fun of them or something like that.
And that, I think that should work in every relationship. As kids coming home, with a sibling relationship, even in a friendship. If you're in a friendship with somebody and you cannot be yourself, you're not free to express yourself, the person dictates where you go, what fun stuff you do, then that's a problem. You need to be comfortable and free and safe in any relationship.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today.
And this is not just one-sided. It's not really always. Most times when people think about somebody unable to express themselves, they think it's the woman and the man is suppressing her. Lately, it's been reversed. It's been many women who have a tendency to manipulate or to withhold to ensure that they get their way. So it works both ways.
Yeah, it's not a healthy thing, because then it's not bringing growth to the marriage.
It stifles
everything. So we want you to think about it. Is your marriage safe?
Is your home
safe?
Yeah.
Can you and your children be able to express themselves in your home? If not, what are you gonna do about it? Thank you for joining us today for
it was fun.
Community Conversation. Yeah, it's always
What are you guys
fun.
talking about?
What are you guys talking about? Let us know what you want us to talk about.
I know what I want to talk
about.
All right.
All right. God bless you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.